Hey everybody, Pete Corner here. Longtime Las Vegas odds maker catering to the Nevada sportsbook scene for well over 30 years. I began my career back in 1984 under the tutelage of Michael Roxy Roxborough, eventually making my way up to operations manager and senior odds maker, and then creating my own company, the Sports Club, which was licensed by the Nevada Gaming Control Board and Commission for 15 years. Odds making, like any other profession in any other industry, requires a certain skill set. It requires that you have sports knowledge, sports wagering knowledge, math skills, patience, and the ability to grind it out on a day-to-day basis. There's really no break in the sports schedule throughout the year. There's always something going on globally. And if you're going to be proficient in any aspect of the sports wagering industry, you're going to need to keep up on a daily basis. Every sporting event that is exposed to wagering has a life. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. The beginning, well, that's us, the odds makers. We're the ones who produce the odds and point spreads and hand them to the next in line, the sportsbook director. The sportsbook director takes our trusted opinions and will alter them according to their own customer base, betting limits, geographics, and they'll negotiate the line movements throughout the life of the betting line. And then there's the gamblers. They're the ones who establish the closing lines, and their opinions will determine who gets the cabbage at the end of the day. As the title of this series suggests, there's an art and science to odds making. The science, well, that's the voluminous amount of information available to you out in the public domain. There's no limit on the scale of information that you can use to get the process started. The art? Well, that's the nuance we odds makers use to take a play or two away from the gamblers. We want to overinflate the base number on teams we know are in the public eye. On marquee games such as Sunday or Monday nights, we know the money's going to go on the favorite. We know it's going to go on the over. So we like to add a little cushion to those numbers just to start the betting off at a little more uncomfortable level. As odds makers, we try to dare the public to take the underdogs and the under, but we know they simply can't. People always ask me, what's the biggest factor in making the odds on a daily basis? And the answer is perception. Understanding and interpreting the available information in front of me to make a credible line. People ask me, what are my go-to websites when I'm doing the lines? And I've got three pretty good ones. I like covers.com. I also like RotoWire, and I like StatHead. These three provide me with game logs, 10 games. That's recency. That's what I want. RotoWire has great injury information, and StatHead has the statistics I need if I want to see if there are particular trends about a team or about a level of point spread that I'm looking at. Other websites I may look at could be Fangraphs, Vegas Insider, Pomeroy Ratings, Massey Ratings, Retro Sheet, Team Rankings, NFL Savant, Oddsharks, VSIN, CBS Sportsline, newspapers.com, sportsreference.com, just about any league.com. I think you get the message. Here's a good question. How long does it take for me to make a line? Well, everybody has their own pace, but when you consider a traditional fall Saturday, there may be 140 college hoop games, coupled with a full slate of NBA games, a pocket full of hockey games, let alone dealing with all the more esoteric sports going on, so you really can't eternally hover over a game and Einstein it for too long. For me, with the tools in front of me and a good daily feel for the teams and their standard deviations, I may take a couple minutes tops for my opinion on the game. What's the toughest line to make? That's another good one, and probably one of the more nerve-wracking experiences in my opinion. But the answer is not what, it's when. Yeah, the beginning of every sports season is a real toss-up of sorts, and the time when the gamblers can take real advantage of the lines if their opinions are better or stronger than ours. When there's very little information to go by at the beginning of the season, opinions can vary, and they can vary widely. Also, this is when some bad teams start off well, and some respected teams may stumble out of the gate, so we all may be reading the tea leaves a little bit differently. But as the season unfolds, we all start to analyze the same results, and our numbers will start to mirror those of our betting friends. When that happens, we feel we're getting the upper hand as there will be less and less differences to exploit. All right, now that we have the basics, let's get into the fun stuff and talk about the individual sports. But more importantly, after 3 days of filming this segment, I can get out of these 2 shirts. Let's go.